Hello, good afternoon, STEM course students. Well, good afternoon slash potentially early evening, depending on where you're joining us from. Thanks so much for taking the time to be with us on a Friday. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Cheryl Martinez. I am the STEM program manager with Growth Sector. Growth Sector is a national nonprofit. We serve as the backbone organization for the STEM core program that you all are participating in on your individual campuses. Whether it's called STEM core or Bridge to Engineering or OMG, you're in the right place. STEM core is sort of the umbrella term that we use for the program across the country. So you're in good company because we are joined and represented by student participants in our program all over the country. And today, we are extremely excited for the opportunity to offer you all what we are calling our CyberDefenders Python Academy. So as all of you know, being STEM students and specifically being students who are in the STEM core program, a big part of like your goals and our goals for you is to gain as much STEM experience as possible, particularly to help build your resumes as we're thinking about research opportunities and internships coming up for you all in the near future. So part of that is one thing that we've heard from a lot of our employer partners and internship sites is they really want you all to have some type of exposure or experience to programming, particularly within Python. So hence why we are offering this academy and this workshop. So we're really excited that you all are here to learn more about the opportunity. So everybody on this call, I believe you should have already submitted your application to apply to the academy. Part 2 of your application process is obviously attending today's session. And then following the session, students will be getting acceptance or waitlisted into the workshop that will take place in the winter. Okay, so for today, we are going to be able to learn a little bit more about what exactly this academy is going to entail and just sort of like what you all are potentially going to be a part of. So I am going to turn things over to our fearless leader, i.e. your faculty member, Vaibhav, who's going to give you a rundown of what the CyberDefenders Academy is going to look like.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cheryl. Hey, everyone. How are you guys doing?
Doing good. Hello.
Awesome. Great. I'm super excited to see you. Yeah, I like the emojis. I like you know, you unmuting and talking to me, as well as feel free to use the chat feature here. Yeah.
If I break you, I'll fix you. No.
Nice. Awesome. So yeah, feel free to use the icons, the chat messaging. If you have questions, what I want to try to do is give you guys an idea of like what you'll be signing up for, what it is like. We'll discuss, you know, the mechanics of the program as well. I am going to share my screen and talk through a few slides. But again, feel free to just interrupt me, as well as feel free to ask questions. But also we'll have a lot of time for questions at the end. I see a lot of hellos here. I see like a lot of familiar faces. Looks like, okay, great. So sweet. So use the chat, and I'm gonna share my screen here. Okay, cool. All right, and then great, awesome. Hopefully everyone sees my screen, and I'm gonna try and get to the chat as well. Okay, great. We want to make sure I'm sending it to everyone. Looks like. So for some weird reason, okay, there you go. Just 1 second, I'm not able to send the chat to everyone. Why is that? Okay, great. Just 1 second while I. Okay, there you go. All right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Awesome. Or no. All right.
Cheryl, you're muted.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, of
By
course.
the way, I think you need to change your
Yeah.
chat to everyone instead of just me.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Like it's not letting me do it. It's like, I maybe for some reason.
Okay. Well, if
Okay.
there's a link or anything you need, you can send it to me and I can copy it to the chat.
Sure, let's do that. But or if someone can type for me, that would be great too. I just wanted to say hello, everyone. On your screen, I want to make sure everyone's seeing my screen. And welcome to this information session. Cool. All right. And then I can still see your chats. It's just like, so for some weird reason, I'm not able to change to everyone. So I want to kind of like tee off the Python Academy with the conversation, like, why do you even want to learn about programming, right? So there are computers everywhere. Like now, our modern life is all about, getting connected, using the computers, and programming is really at heart of everything which enables that. Some people kind of think programming is a lot about coding, but really what programming is problem solving. And the skills which you learn by programming give you a head start in multiple careers, not only just a career being a programmer or a computer engineer, but also for a career which sets you up in any academia or science. If you want to be researcher, you got to know programming. If you want to be academic, you want to know programming. So programming really is now the modern foundation for learning. So you want to kind of think of programming not only for a career track in computers or having a STEM career as such, if you will, but programming enables you to actually use immense computational power to solve small interesting problems. So even as wide ranging as like finding the cure for the next COVID strain, if you will, to actually saving us from climate change. So all of those hard problems need a lot of computational power, and that computational powers can be harnessed with programming. Programming is also fun. Today, what I will show you a few things which, I want to kind of say, it's not just about like, learning and solving hard problems, but it's also quite fun. You can actually be creative with programming as well. So I want to give you guys a little bit glimpse of that today as well. So having said that, programming is sort of like the new third leg of like, of education. You not only need to read or write, but actually you need to be able to program as well. I want to kind of switch to like, if you're going to program, what is a good language to programming? So the one which is used around academia as well as industry to get new coders or programmers started in the world of computers is Python. So Python is very friendly language. It tries to reduce your program to like an English sentence, if you will, or it is as close to natural language as possible in modern times. So you want to think of Python in a way that you think of your nouns, adjectives, verbs, etc. when you're trying to express yourself. So Python makes it super easy to express yourself. In a couple things, I will show you, how easy it is in Python to like just get started. There is number of tools out there. We will, in this program, we will kind of, ensure that you have appropriate tools. We do want everyone in the program to have a computer they can use and program in. So no tablets or phones, but you should be using either a Chromebook, a Windows machine, or a Mac where you can actually run a browser. So that's one of the core requirements for for programming and learning Python through this course. So having said that, like, here is a sample of like what you will be looking at. We will give you coursework. This is one of our draft Python curriculums. We will get started with Python. You will learn a little bit about solving problems with Python. Sometimes the steps to solve a problem are referred in computer science as algorithms. We'll talk about like the universe of Python packages. We'll talk about how Python has been used in different disciplines like data science, networks, as well as what fun you can have with Python. And so speaking of fun, one of the things I like students to try and play with is use their programming skills to create something meaningful or something fun. So one of the things we will be doing in the program, and I'll show you here shortly, is like this idea of like, creating a song using a program. So, this is ear sketch, and I will introduce this to you guys in the program. Like, I'm going to show my ear sketch here, right? Like, so here is a very simple program where, I'm just going to like play, this is Python. So this is a simple Python script, which I'll explain all of it. Like, this script is importing all the functions from this module called ear sketch, and it's setting the music tempo to 120, and we're going to start and run this track called techno synth punk. So I'm going to actually just run it for you and see what we get from it, right? So this is a very simple 3-line thing, and it's actually so this very simple 3-liner can actually play that quite engaging music. You guys were able to hear the music, right? Sweet. So, with the power of programming, you can take this music and make it a little bit more fun by, actually creating something with drums. So, in this particular, 8-line program, what we're doing is we're going to import certain functions from ear sketch. We're going to set the tempo, and then I'm going to pick a couple drums which are available in this environment, and then I'm going to use a new structure of not just saying what you do, but I'm actually going to loop through about 9 measures here. So I'm not going to repeat myself by like copy pasting this fit media 9 times, but this, instead of doing this, like instead of doing this 9 times, what I'm actually doing is I am actually just using a loop to do it. And so once I do that, I'm going to run this and play this for you and see what we get out of it. Sweet. So that was all like in very few lines of code. And we are able to do that. All of this we've been able to do it in Python. So that sort of stuff we will cover. We'll kind of introduce you to like an IDE, which you can do on your computer, or you can just use Python in your browser. So all of those things will introduce you to. Sweet. Cool. Any questions so far? Awesome. So, cool, great. So what's the program going to be like? So we are going to try to fit all of this in 2 weeks. We'll have new content, new learning for you every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then we will have drop-in tutoring and a lot of homework for you on Tuesdays and Thursdays. But what we are expecting is every week for these 2 weeks, you have at least 20 to 30 hours to work on the program. And what you learn in the program, we want you to try and apply it in a real project. In a project, it could be as fun as like what I showed, like, you just want to create your own song, or you want to create your own robot, or you want to create your own app, if you will, or if you want to analyze some portion of data, or you just want to learn something which is already done by using a sample on the internet or something. Like anything which kind of gets you motivated to program is fine as a project. But very early on, we will want people to kind of try a student defined project. We will encourage to have you guys work in teams, because that's one of the ideas of the program, is to collaborate and learn from each other. So these projects will let you have 2 to 4 people in a team, and we'll do like some fun programming projects. And at the end of the class, you will be presenting your work, your programming work in teams, and we will have prizes for the top projects. And so that's all on the docs for you. We will be doing an orientation in December, so you kind of get to know each other, form teams, as well as like get started on the programming setup required for the course. I am going to share this link as you kind of become part of the program. This is the link for the Python Academy. All the content of the program, even if you kind of don't get admitted to the program, or if you don't have time to continue through, you can come back and look at this link. This Python Academy will have all the program details. All the sessions will be here, and all the projects, as we kind of make project teams and such, will be here. And this link will be sent out to you guys as well. So this will be the course page for the Python Academy. With that, I think I will end on the content set of things here, and I'll open the room for your questions, and I'll leave this academy breakdown, the program breakdown site here. The link is here, Monday to Friday for 2 weeks, and then we will have a lot of tutoring support through these days as well.
Thanks so much, Vaibhav. Before we open it up for Q&A, I anticipate that there's going to be several questions around what's next, how do students participate. So I'm going to give you all a really quick rundown. This academy is capped at 35 students in total who are able to participate. So we are going to be reviewing applications and attendance for today's session, and then getting back to everybody by next week to let you know if you've been admitted into the academy. So if you are admitted into the academy, the program schedule is up here. You will receive further information from myself and from Vaibhav in terms of the schedule, what you need to do next, the date and time for the orientation in December, and all the information that you need to get started. So you will be hearing either way from us next week, so that you know whether or not you've been admitted into the academy. If something's changed for you and you suddenly have seen the schedule and you're like, this doesn't work for me, I can't commit to doing this, then please send us an email to let us know that you would like to remove yourself or withdraw your application. But please pay attention to the this slide in the Academy breakdown. I did email that out to everybody as well. If you cannot commit to attending all of these dates, then this is likely not going to work for you for this Academy. We will likely be offering another one probably in the spring or summer, but for this Winter Academy, you do need to be able to commit to these dates. And with that, I would like to open it up for Q&A. Jose, yes, you will be informed if you are not admitted into the Academy. So you will hear from me either way next week.
Hey, Vibov, this is Gabe from Growth Sector. I was just wondering real quick, maybe you could talk a little bit about, when you're not making really cool beats and programming them in Python and teaching Python courses, what is it you do with your time? Because I think it might be interesting for the students to hear.
Oh, sure. I want to kind of maybe show you. So I teach and consult in cybersecurity, and a lot of that is linked with my interest in art. So I for a lot of my free time, I build art installations, and a lot of the art installations I build, they have some element of technology in it as well. I think the best way to do that, and since Gabe, you put me on spot, is to show maybe a picture or two. So let me pull it up if I could. Just give me a second here. I will show you a version of it. Okay, there you go.
Well, while you're doing that, I would just say to the students,
Okay.
One of the reasons Growth Sector likes working with Vibov is because, as he mentioned, he's a cybersecurity consultant, but also very passionate about art and other things, and does a great job working in that interdisciplinary fashion. So I just think it's cool for students to hear. Thanks, Vibov.
There you go. Awesome. So here is, if this is our class in merit, if you will. I am also a published author with O'Reilly. It's a big technical company, but this is one of the example of the art projects I have built. So a lot of, like, for example, you're seeing all this work. A lot of computers were involved in actually making this this lamp, for example. It's got all these intricate design. It was kind of constructed in Illustrator, and then a computer actually you cut it with a CNC router. So the designs here, like a lot of math is kind of used in that. That's it's a fun way to combine your right brain and left brain, if you will. It keeps me engaged, and that's why a lot of programs I teach are kind of sit in that realm, right? Like I like playing with right brain. Sweet. Is that what you were expecting me to talk to, Gabe, or
Yeah, I'm never sure. Okay. I'm never sure, Vibov, but I also think it's in addition to, as you mentioned, art installations in your free time and teaching cybersecurity, you also are a cybersecurity consultant. So up in the industry and understanding what's going on, and I've helped STEM core students in the past, learn programming and cybersecurity and parlay that into internships and jobs. So just
absolutely. Yeah. So link you kind of see here is like, the reason I kind of talked a little bit more about art is like when you're starting, a lot of times people kind of get put off by the idea that, computers is a little bit too math heavy, or computers are a little bit too, too nerdy, if you will. But that's not really the case. Like that's why I wanted to talk a little bit more about art. But on the other side, like on the job side of things, so the cybersecurity program which I run, we've had about 300 students go through that program, and I do a lot of work with the industry in really kind of trying to bring new talent into cybersecurity, and a lot of foundation for that talent is starting with programming, if you will. And there are range of projects which we do in that, like and a good example of the project is like, we're working with the police department of Alameda County, for example, to have the students be involved with the police department to help them in law enforcement. And a lot of students actually have, with their cybersecurity skills, have been able to make a big impact in the local county police office, and they subsequently have secured internships there, and they are now doing law enforcement work with their training in computer, for example. That's an interesting a way to actually break into workforce, if you will. Some students have also worked with like local technology companies here in San Francisco Bay Area, and they started like by knowing a little bit Python, by understanding cybersecurity, and have worked with them to like get their career into like being like a cybersecurity what's called Security Operations Center, SOC, a SOC analyst. So they are actually able to get a job being able to monitor all these all this computer activity happening at a company, and figuring out what's good activity and what's bad activity, and get a job doing that actually. So all of these things help you secure a career which you will be not only handsomely compensated for, but you will find fulfilling, because you're doing the right things for the society.
That's really great. Thank you so much for sharing like just the various like applications and how students can use this. I see a few questions coming up in the chat. Quinn asked, the classes will be held entirely online through Zoom. Is that correct? Yes. This is a virtual academy, which is the beauty of it, is that our STEM course students all over the country are going to be able to participate in this academy. So completely virtual on Zoom. Jessica asked, will we mainly be learning the language, or will it be programming concepts as well?
I'll take that. Jessica, yeah, you will learn programming contexts, concepts and context, both of those, and then apply it in a practical way to learn the language. So I think it's very important for you to learn the concepts, because those stay. Sometimes programming languages change, but the concepts early on, when you kind of learn them, they will make your skills much more long lasting.
And then another question came up asking, are we going to do any projects that utilize artistic concepts in this bootcamp?
Yes, so the projects, it's completely up to you to pick a project. Kind of think of it as something where it keeps you motivated to learn programming, if you will, and also to do it in a group, because sometimes group dynamics help you be more creative. It keeps you motivated, as well as you learn a lot when you learn in a group. So we encourage students to like pick very broad range topics, and the topics which are close to their heart, and we'll guide you through that. And a good way to kind of determine if your topic is is programming worthy is if you can actually get another 2 to 3 people join you, right? So Yeah, feel free to pick anything as a project, as long as you can have teammates.
Great. And what components of cybersecurity will we be focusing on?
In this program, in this course, in this introductory, we will not touch on that many cybersecurity concepts, but we'll primarily focus on programming concepts, and we'll focus in a way where, you know, if you want to apply it into cybersecurity, you can do it, but we won't learn or focus any cybersecurity concepts, if you will.
Well, thank you. And Aaron would actually like to know more about you, Vaibhav. How much experience do you have with programming, and how long have you been coding?
You know, I started programming, gosh, like 20 plus years ago. I've professionally been in the software industry for 20 years now. My career started initially by working on Linux kernel. I was a contributor to Linux kernel very early on. I worked for some defense projects here in US, but then my first big programming job was at Microsoft, and that was over 20 years ago. So I started my career out of school at Microsoft, and since then I've worked at different companies, as well as have started my own company as well. So, but I think, you know, programming is one of those things, even to this date, I keep learning. It's an art. You will never kind of like know complete aspect of it. So it's very important to practice it as an art. That's another big difference between anything else you will learn, right? You're going to get better only by doing it. You're not going to get better by actually learning or reading a lot about it.
Thank you. More questions are coming in. You said that Python was created to be as similar to natural language as possible. Would you say it's easier to learn other programming languages after you've learned Python?
Yes. So you know, to get the programming concepts, and since it's created in a way to be as close to, you know, your natural language, and kind of make it easy to express yourself and your way of solving a problem, as like you would do in English. But once you sort of start getting hang of it, you understand programming, you understand how you can really use computers. That's very easy to do in Python. Once you kind of are able to do that, a lot of that learning you can take it and apply to other languages. So it definitely makes it easier. You know, just like, you know, any other skill, in computers, you wanna have multiple skills, because it's a very it's a vibrant field, and it's ever changing. So from that perspective, Python is a great stepping stone, and it prepares you for a wide range of problems and technologies.
I see Jason with a hand up and a saxophone in the back.
Hi. Yeah. Hello, Vaibhav. I have a question. So for somebody who has a background in C++, because I did take some C++ classes in my college, would there be any sort of difficulties that I should know about in terms of, like, maybe I need to kind of unlearn something, or maybe there might be something that doesn't really apply well between C++ and Python, or are they kind of generally easy to sideways one into the other?
You know, yeah, it's generally easy. There is, like, you know, there is not as much to unlearn, if you will. You're just going to find it a lot easier, since you've already done it, and then you can, and that's the other part, like if you already, especially with a class of this size, you will always get students who are really who have a lot of experience, and students who are kind of new to it. Our
Right.
goal is to kind of accommodate everyone, but if you already have like learned and things like that, then that's why the project part of things is very interesting, because then you can pick a project which is more ambitious and learn a lot more. Like,
awesome. All right, I appreciate it. Thank you very much for the input.
Great questions coming up. I see a question asking if about certificates. So yes, all students who complete the academy will receive a STEM core certificate of completion, noting that you completed the Python Academy. And yes, I love how you're thinking already. Like, this is definitely something that needs to be going on your resumes, especially as you all are applying for internships through the program, not through our program. This needs to be on there for sure. Great questions, everybody. Anything else?
yeah, go ahead. Cindy, the certificate, yeah, it will be digital. Yes.
We'll going with the virtual digital theme. We'll email it out to everybody after the session or the academy is over.
Yeah, but the great part of that is, like, as you kind of build up your resume more and more, you want to try to build up your resume as like, LinkedIn, and you can actually upload the certificate in your LinkedIn profile and have it available for people to look at. So that's a good plus side of having a digital certificate.
A few more questions.
Go ahead.
Can we know a little bit more about the IDEs?
Yeah, so in December, in our orientation, we'll kind of get you started on an IDE. We'll have a session where everyone can get started. We'll do most of the work. We'll do web-based, so you don't have to like install anything on your computer. But we do want everyone to have like at least a computer which is able to run a good browser like Chrome or Firefox.
And a question is there a grading system?
Yeah, after every lesson, there will be work for you to do. There is no grading. It's more around we pass or fail, whether you have completed it or not. You sometimes can, get the answer wrong, but it's very important to actually try it. So your certificate will basically be based on the fact that you complete at least 80% of the assigned work in the program, but there is no grading as such, if you will. There is just pass and fail.
Okay. And then I see a question probably for me. Are people who have less experience in coding at a disadvantage when it comes to being admitted into the program? Absolutely not. That's the whole point of this academy, is for our students who have not as much experience to get that exposure piece. So the application process is based off of your application you submitted, obviously your attendance today, and recommendations coming from your on-campus student support specialist. So if you've never touched Python, you're exactly who should be doing this, and we're happy to have you. I see a question asking, will we go over syntax, and how well will we be at transitioning the skills we've learned into a practical aspect?
Yeah, yes, you will be doing everything, practical, if you will. You will be coding hands-on. So a big part of learning how to code is then learning the syntax of the language. And then once you kind of are able to do something useful in the language and are able to solve the problem, a lot of those skills you can apply to other problem sets, as well as other subjects you will be encountering. So a lot of that is translatable.
Really quick, just in terms of housekeeping, there are a few students on the call who your Zoom screen name does not match the name that you use on your application. I've messaged a couple of you already. So if you can just send me a quick message, just so we know who you are versus your application. I see a Wayne L and a Jonathan Sammy already that we don't see applications for. So just, I want to make sure that we're giving you credit for attending today.
Yeah, it's cool. There are a couple of things I see here, which there was a typo on the orientation. The orientation is actually December 16th. That's sort of our current, the Friday, the 16th, from 10 to 12 Pacific time. That's kind of what we are shooting for. I think there was a typo earlier, and it came out at December 14th. And then I also see another question was we will also have a Discord group of the class, so you will have a lot more support, if you will, and that all of those things we will cover in your orientation. Let me see. And yes, will the lectures be recorded? We will record the lectures, but the whole point of the class being 2 weeks is that you were able to attend it. We will record it, but it's not, and there will be a lot of work done in the class. So it's highly recommended that you actually attend the class live. But in case of like maybe 1 or 2 classes, like if you want to review it offline, there will be material for you to review. But we encourage you to attend the class in person.
Live.
Live, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, and that's part of everybody. Again, I want to make sure that we're pointing out like your availability is that you're committing to being there for those times that were outlined. Great. Great questions, everybody. I see we have some really engaged learners. Y'all are ready to participate and make sure that everything is in line. So we're really, really excited to have such a great group. Keep in mind, as I had mentioned earlier, that we will likely be offering another session, probably spring, if not early summer. So if it doesn't work out that you are not in this academy, you will have the opportunity to reapply and participate at a later date as well. But I would encourage you, keep working with your campus support specialists. I see a lot of you have been on calls week after week with our employer virtual series. I've seen a lot of your names in our STEM core internship application. If you haven't submitted your application, I highly encourage you to do so because we did start interviews this week, but you all are doing the right thing by being here and by staying engaged, and we definitely appreciate you. So if there are no further questions, I think we're going to give you back the last 15 minutes of the hour. Today's session is being recorded, so I will send out the recording. I have everybody's emails via the registration for today's session, so I'll be able to send out the recording if you want to watch this back as well. And if any other questions come up for you, you have my contact info, so please feel free to reach out and follow up with me. All right, have a great weekend, everybody, and a great Thanksgiving. Thanks for being here.
Awesome. Have a great holidays, guys. See you guys.
Everybody.